Hi, everybody. Hi, everyone. This is Melanie Shapiro, an immigration lawyer in Massachusetts. Today, I am here live on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. I'm here to answer any questions you might have about immigration. I hope everybody's doing really well. If you can hear me, let me know. If you can hear me, okay. And feel free to drop your questions into the comments or send me a message. I'm more than happy to answer your questions. So today I'm going to start off by talking about what we did over the weekend. My office went to celebration every year in Norwood, where we have one of our offices, our main office location. And the estimated attendance was about 16,000 people. So it was really fun, and we got the chance to talk to a lot of people in the community. And we raffled off a free consultation. We did temporary tattoos for people. It was really, really fun. So I see here in Instagram, Sashin Gupta. Hi, how are you? Hello, Manuel Gutierrez. I hope everyone is doing great. So I'm going to answer any questions that you might have about immigration, talk a little bit about the work that we're doing on Afghanistan, and yeah, I'm looking forward to talking to you guys this morning. So I see, hello Humberto on Instagram, hello everybody. So just go ahead and send in those questions, and I'll be happy to help you out. So the first question that I have is, hi Melanie, how long does it take to get the approval for an I-45? It's been 6 months since taking the fingerprints reused from the previous case. So it really just kind of depends on what type of I-45 you're doing, if you're doing it based on marriage, if you're doing it by itself, if you're doing it based on asylum status. So I'm going to just go, this is something that you can do for yourself anytime. You just Google USCIS processing times, check state case processing times. So I'm on that website here, and I'm going to the I-485, and there's a lot of different service centers. So it really depends, in field offices. So for example, if you're doing a marriage petition and you filed your I-45 at the same time and your interview is going to be in Boston, you would check off Boston. And now in Boston, it says these cases are taking between 10 to 34 months. So even though your case has been pending for 6 months, it's still within normal processing times. Thanks for your question. Sachin Gupta says, I want to ask you, I'm coming to the United States after flights open. I have a B1, B2 visa. I want to ask for asylum. So with the B1, B2 visa, what you should do as soon as you get to the airport is say, I want to claim asylum. Because if you're coming on a visitor visa, you're telling immigration that your intent is to come here to visit, not to stay. But you do have a right to ask for asylum at the border. And so you can ask for asylum at the airport. So maybe be a good idea for us to have an appointment before you come over so we can talk about your situation. So if anybody needs to schedule a consultation with me or with my associate, James Escobedo, you can call the office at 781-461-0100, or you can send us a message on Facebook or Instagram, and then we can set up an appointment that way. And let's see, I'm just checking to see if there are any comments. Hello to you, Briagin Soto Benitez, ¿cómo está? So thanks for saying hi. Tenemos un programa en español cada miércoles a las 12. Entonces, si quiere enviarme tus preguntas inglés, español, send me your comments, questions in whatever language, and I'm happy to answer you. So thank you for that question. The next question I have is, what is the step after biometrics? So after you have your biometrics done, basically you're just waiting for an interview notice so you know when you can go in for an interview. And then you have your interview and receive a decision, and then hopefully it goes well. So thank you for your question. The next question I have is, hi Melanie, I've been traveling with a New Zealand passport to visit my partner. I have been coming every 3 to 4 months and staying around 3 months. Is this something I can continue doing, or will I start having problems to enter? So, you can only come to the United States for 6 months out of an entire year. So you just have to be really careful with the way that you're timing things. So immigration might ask you, "Hey, I noticed you've been coming along a lot. Do you intend to stay?" So you want to make sure that you have proof that you intend to return to your country, to New Zealand. You can show proof of a return ticket that's been booked, ties back in New Zealand, such as if you're in school, if you have a job, or if you have property there. Those are some ways that you can address the potential risk of immigration pulling you into secondary inspection and questioning why you're coming and staying so much. So that hopefully that answers your question. Um, Humberto said, no sabía que hablabas español. Saludos. Gracias. Sí, hablo español también. Tenemos una persona aquí que habla portuguesa. Okay, thank you for the question. Oh, also another note about that is that if you and your partner have been together for a long time and you're thinking you might want to move to the United States, something you can explore is either a fiance petition, or if you do get married, doing a marriage petition. The next question that I have is, um, Sachin says, how much time take to get work permit and asylum, and what documents do you need? It's a great question. So usually, well, before Trump, you would only have to wait for 150 days to file your application for asylum, but he changed the rules, so now you have to wait 365 days to apply for asylum. However, there is a lawsuit going on. Casa de Maryland and the ASAP groups have a lawsuit against the government challenging the Trump policy of extending the period of time needed before you can file for a work permit with asylum. So what you can do is you can join ASAP, Asylum Seeker Protection Advocacy Project. And it's so easy. You just go online, just Google ASAP immigration and go on their website. You can register right online. You don't have to pay anything as long as you have a pending asylum case or you are going to seek asylum. You can register. It doesn't matter where you live, and they will send you an email confirmation with a digital membership card. This is great because with this card, you are now eligible to apply for a work permit when your asylum case is pending for 150 days, like the old rule, and you don't have to pay a filing fee for biometrics. So registering with ASAP is really important. And in order to be eligible for asylum, you have to show that you have suffered persecution because of who you are, whether it's your race, religion, nationality, political opinion, or your membership in a particular social group. So there's persecution because of who you are. The government is not willing or not able to help you, to protect you from that. Or if you have not suffered persecution in the past, that you're afraid that you're going to suffer it if you have to go back. So some of the documents that we use the most important document is your own statement. So writing down all of the details in a way that makes sense. And then if you've been harmed, having an evaluation, a psychological evaluation or a medical evaluation is really important. Having any statements from anyone who knows personally what happened to you. And there's a bunch of other ways that you can show proof of what has happened to you and why you're afraid to return. So asylum is something I specialize in. Probably half of my cases are asylum cases. So if you are afraid to return to your country, definitely get in contact with me so that my office can help you with your asylum case. So thank you for your question. And the next question that I have, let's see, is, hello, I'm a US citizen. and my parents came here in 2012 and have been residing in the US on and off since then. They do not speak English, just the emergency necessary, like names and addresses. One is 71 and the other parent is 63. I don't know if they would be able to learn all the questions, and even if they do learn them by heart, I don't think they would really understand. They have issues with memory, anxiety, and depression. How can I help them apply? Um, so if your parents are here and you've been able to get them their green cards and they now want to become US citizens, but they don't speak English and they have some conditions, there are exceptions available. So I'm just going to go on the N400 is the form to file for naturalization. And I'm just going to bring this up because on the form, there are certain exceptions to the English language exam. Um, Also, for medical conditions, there's something called the N68, which is a medical exemption form. And so that, um, on the medical exemption form, you can try to get exempt from the English language test or other parts of the exam based on medical conditions that you have. This morning, in fact, we just had someone exempted because they have early onset dementia. So they just passed their NATS exam this morning. We also have another person who had some long-term side effects from COVID, and he was able to be exempt from part of the test because he couldn't remember anything because of the way that COVID impacted his cognitive abilities. So, there's that. And then I'm still trying to pull up this form. So just give me 1 second here. It's downloading. Okay. So depending on how long you've been in the country and how long you've had your basically how long you've had your green card and how old you are, you could be exempt from the naturalization exam. And it's taking forever to pull this up. But yeah, so you might be eligible for that. And that's one way to get around some of the issues that this person is experiencing. Um, Aziz Aneka said, "Where are you located?" So my office is in Massachusetts. I have two offices. One is in Worcester and one is in Norwood. However, I do represent clients all over the US and all over the world. So even if you aren't in Massachusetts, I can definitely still help you because my office is completely digitally equipped and we can do everything electronically. So thank you for your question. Um, so then the next question that we have is, hello, how are you? I have my interview this month, but I can't remember a trip. Do you know where I can see my travels? Thank you. So in order to see where you've been, there's something called the I-94, which is the arrival departure record. If you go on Google and you put in I-94, the government website will come up and you can use your passport in order to put in some information and it will pull up your last trip and then a history of all of your trips. The electronic I-94, it used to be a white card, the I-94 card, but now it's been electronic, I think, since around 2015. So any trips after that point should be online. And the next question is, my mom finally decided she wanted to move to the US to live with us. She is currently in Argentina and she is almost 90 years old. I am a citizen of the US. Is the process as complicated as it was to bring my brother? How long would it take until it's approved? So the process is definitely not as complicated as when you brought your brother, in so much as that your mother is an immediate family member, so there is no wait time. So in order to bring your mom here, it should take about a year to a year and a half to go through everything with consular processing. For your brother, it was different because it's subject to a cap on the visa bulletin, and the cases for US citizens petitioning for their siblings is taking about 14 years. So it'll be much, much easier in terms of waiting times. Hola, Ermelina. Benedicciones igualmente, gracias. So I'm going to just check if anyone over on Facebook or Instagram or YouTube, if you have any questions, now is the time definitely to send them in. If you are interested in booking an appointment with me, you can call 781-461-00, or you can send us a message on Facebook or Instagram. And also, you can book an appointment directly on our website at melanieshapiroesq.com. So the next question that I have is, I arrived 6 months ago. Can I apply for asylum, and how long does the process take? Yes, you can apply for asylum if you have a legitimate case. If you're afraid to return to your country because of who you are, because you've been persecuted in the past, or you face persecution in the future. So, in order to apply for asylum, there's a rule that you have to apply for asylum within 1 year of arriving in the United States or within 1 year of your status expiring. So, for example, if you're on an F1 student visa, your program is ending, and now you're going to be forced to return, and now you're afraid to return to your country, you have to apply within 1 year of your status expiring. But generally, keep in mind just 1 year after arriving in the United States. The process, it really depends. So there's something, the policy was changed, and now it's the asylum offices are operating on adjudicating cases on a last in, first out basis. So that means that cases that are filed now are pushing down the old cases, and they're being heard first. For example, I filed a case in May, and we have the interview in a couple of weeks. Whereas I still have cases from 2015 that have not been heard yet. So thank you for your question. What can I do if I was denied asylum? Is the next question. So there's two ways of doing asylum: affirmative and defensive. Affirmative means that you have never been in immigration proceedings and you're filing your application with with the asylum office. If you're in a defensive case, that means that you're in removal or deportation proceedings, and you're filing your asylum application defensively as a way to not get deported. And so, if you are denied asylum at the asylum office, your case is referred to the immigration court, and you have a second opportunity to have your case heard before an immigration judge. If your case is denied at the immigration court, you can appeal your case to the Board of Immigration Appeals or up to the Circuit Court of Appeals for wherever you are. So that's how what you can do if your case is denied. And so I'm just checking. Hi, okay. He says, we need help, asylum for the USA. So if you need help for asylum, you can definitely get in touch with my office, and you can send us a message on Facebook, WhatsApp, or Instagram, YouTube, and I'd be happy to set up a consultation with you so I can learn more about your case. Thank you for your question. The next question is, how long does the process for work permit take? So right now, work permits are taking between 3 to 5 months. So one thing that's important to remember is that don't freak out if you are applying for asylum or you have a green card case pending. When you apply for your work permit, even if your work permit is going to expire, the letter that you receive automatically extends your work permit for 180 days. This does not apply to all categories, the C8 and the C9 categories, the asylum and the adjustment of status categories it applies to, but not for every category. So it's really important to pay attention to when your work permit is going to expire. And you can apply for your work permit renewal 3 months before it's going to expire. So thanks for the question. Let me know if you have any more questions. We did an interview with WPRI this morning about the work we're doing helping Afghan refugees, particularly Afghan women and some of their families, Afghan feminists, and members of the LGBT community. So that has taken up a lot of the time at the office that we've been working on this project, coordinating legal services, some mental health support, some housing for some Afghan women, trying to get them out of Afghanistan. So I will post that interview when it is up. And if you have any questions about that, then I'm happy to answer those. Um, Kabir says that they are in Pakistan. We are okay. I have some other Pakistani asylum seekers that I'm working on their cases, so I am very familiar. You can send us a message, um, and we'll set up a consultation for you. So thank you for your question. Um, so thank you for everybody tuning in on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. We'll be back on Wednesday for a program in Spanish, miércoles con Melanie a las 12 en la tarde. Si tiene alguna preguntas, pueden enviarlos. So I hope everybody has a great week. Thanks.